I lie to an old man every single day. I have done it for 8 months. Some people would call me cruel. Others would call me dishonest. Sometimes I call myself both. My name is Emma. I am 34 years old and I work as a hospice nurse. Every morning at exactly 8 o'clock, an 86-year-old man named Walter asks me the same question. He looks at me with hopeful blue eyes and says, "Is Margaret coming today?" And every morning I give him the same answer. "Yes, Walter, she'll be here soon." That is my lie, because Margaret has been dead for 12 years. I know she is dead. His children know she is dead. And somewhere deep inside himself, perhaps Walter knows it too. But every morning he waits for her. I first met Walter last October. He had advanced heart failure and severe dementia. The doctors estimated that he had only a few months left. His room was small but comfortable. There were photographs everywhere. A wedding picture, a family vacation, a black and white photograph of a young woman with dark hair and bright eyes, Margaret. Her picture was on every wall. I noticed something else immediately. There was an empty chair beside his bed. The cushion was worn. The armrests were polished smooth by years of use. No one sat in it. Yet every morning Walter looked at that chair first. Then he looked at me. Has Margaret arrived? I had been a hospice nurse for 9 years. I believed in honesty, so on my first day I told him the truth. "Walter, Margaret passed away several years ago." He stared at me. His face slowly changed. First confusion, then disbelief, then something far worse. Pure heartbreak. "No," he whispered. He looked at the empty chair, then back at me. "No, she can't be gone." He began to cry, not loudly, not dramatically, just quiet tears running down an old man's face. I stayed with him for nearly an hour. I held his hand. I tried to comfort him. Eventually he fell asleep. The next morning I entered his room again. He smiled. His eyes were bright. "Is Margaret coming today?" He did not remember yesterday. He did not remember crying. He did not remember learning she was dead. I told him again, and again I watched his heart break. The following day the same thing happened, and the day after that. Every single morning he lost his wife for the first time. Every single morning he grieved all over again. After 1 week, I couldn't do it anymore. I went to speak with his daughter, Rebecca. She was 58 and looked exhausted. I asked her, "What should I do? Am I helping him by telling the truth?" Rebecca was quiet. Then she said something I will never forget. "When my mother died, my father cried every day for 2 years. But this," she looked toward his room, "this is different. This is torture." She picked up a photograph from the table. It showed her parents dancing. My father loved my mother for 61 years. They did everything together. He still reaches across the bed for her at night. Then Rebecca looked directly at me. "If he only has a little time left, I don't want him to spend it grieving her death every single morning." The next day, Walter asked his question again. "Is Margaret coming today?" I hesitated. Then I said softly, "Yes, Walter. She'll be here soon." His entire face changed. He smiled. "Oh, good." Then he relaxed against his pillow. "She hates it when I'm worried." He spent the rest of the morning talking about her. He told me how they met in high school. He told me about their first dance. He told me how nervous he was when he proposed. He laughed. He smiled. He looked peaceful. I realized something important that day. I wasn't lying to him because I wanted to deceive him. I was protecting him from experiencing the same devastating loss again and again. The routine continued. Every morning, the same question, the same answer. "Yes, Walter, she'll be here soon." Then one Tuesday, something unexpected happened. I entered his room. Before he could ask his question, he looked at me carefully. "You know," he said, "you look nothing like Margaret." I smiled. "No, no." He laughed softly. "She was prettier." I laughed too. Then he became serious. "Tell me something. What is it?" "Has she been gone a long time?" I froze. This had never happened before. He looked directly into my eyes. For a brief moment, he seemed completely clear. I nodded slowly. "Yes, Walter." He looked at the empty chair. Then he smiled. "I thought so." I didn't know what to say. After a long silence, he whispered, "I miss her every day." I took his hand. "I know." Then he surprised me again. "Thank you." "For what?" "For telling me she's coming." I stared at him. He squeezed my hand gently. "I forget many things these days, but I remember what loneliness feels like." Tears filled my eyes. He looked toward the empty chair. "When you tell me she's coming, I get to spend a little time waiting for her." He smiled softly. "And waiting for someone you love is a happy feeling." I couldn't speak. "I know she isn't really coming," he said quietly. "But for a few minutes every morning, I can imagine that she is." He closed his eyes. "And that's enough." He died 3 weeks later, peacefully. Rebecca and I were sitting beside his bed. His breathing had become very shallow. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. He looked toward the empty chair, and then he smiled. A beautiful, calm smile. "Margaret," he whispered. "You're here." Those were his last words. A few moments later, he was gone. At his funeral, Rebecca handed me a small envelope. Inside was a photograph. It showed Walter and Margaret sitting together on a porch swing. On the back, someone had written, "The happiest moments of life are often spent waiting for the people we love." I keep that photograph in my desk. Sometimes I still look at it, and I think about lies. Most lies are selfish. Some lies are cruel. But once in a very great while, a lie becomes something else entirely. Sometimes it becomes a small bridge between grief and peace. My name is Emma. I lied to an old man every single day. And if I had the chance, I would tell him exactly the same lie again.